you guys to look at this book. It's nearly 200 years old. But still sounds good and crisp and very perfect for ASMR. ASMR. And before I freak too many of you out by touching this with my bare hands, we're going to incorporate some gloves. Let's get some fresh, crisp, new gloves. I'm going to slide these on and we're going to browse through some very old books. Certainly not at their best. So I just got these. Let's go ahead and put them on. You know what? I think I'm going to invoke some advanced editing techniques here to speed up the process of putting these on. There we go. That's more like it. And let's go ahead and do this one even quicker. I think if I just do that, it can work. Alright, that worked out pretty nicely. Nothing like gloved hands tapping on a large box of large gloves. Non-medical, of course. We don't like our gloves sterile around here. We like them old, well used, and with a rich history. Let's go ahead and stack. is behind it. Okay. Okay. Back to the star of the show. This is a book of astronomy written by Elijah Burritt with an introduction by Thomas Dick, author of The Christian Philosopher. As you can see, the text in this book is extremely small. Now I'm being so careless with this book because I got it a couple years ago for about maybe $8 on eBay, and it just started falling apart on me. But I just love the old illustrations, and you know what? We're gonna have to do it, guys. We have to pull those strings out. It's really cool to think that this paper is almost 200 years old. And really, other than a few simple splotches and vague discolorations, it doesn't look all that bad. See, we don't really have let's look for a table of contents. I don't think we're going to find a table of contents. And honestly, this book is really about to fall apart, but let's see if we can, let's look at a few figures beforehand. Astronomy is a very ancient subject, intimately linked with astrology until the scientific revolution of only a few hundred years ago. Here we see things like the convexity, or convexity rather, of the Earth. Again, flat earthers, navigators have sailed quite around the Earth and thus proved its convexity. See the telescopic appearances of Venus. When viewed through a good telescope, Venus exhibits not only all the moon-like phases of Mercury, but also a variety of inequalities on her surface. You can see here they perhaps have a wood carving to create these illustrations. That's enough handling of the geography of the heavens for one fine evening. You'll notice I donned a second layer of gloves. The first layer was becoming too sticky. A little too much perspiration. Wow, here we go. God, this is actually the first time since my last video, maybe 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago already? Wow. Since I've wielded this very, very poignant, very intangible, very visceral piece of history. that sound. It's a very deep, muffled tapping. My nails through this. That might once have been on the spine of this book has long been disintegrated, long been worn off. It's still very unique, very old artifact of a time that's ever receding into the past, into an era we think of as myth. If you kill me, my men shall be yours, but if I kill you, your men shall be mine. No. Mientenomi. My men come to fight, and they shall fight. Upon which Uncas, falling instantly to the ground, his men discharged a shower of arrows among the Narragansets without a moment's interval. So many names on these inside covers. I this is the most ostentatious one. I feel like holding a book this old makes me want to use big, ostentatious words. And it even looks like if you can see that, right there, looks like this book has been dragged through a heap of thorns, or simply spitefully knifed by a dwarf wielding sword. No, wait, that didn't sound right. By a dwarf sword wielding individual. Yeah, it's been carved up really, really good on the front. And again, we take a look at these names. There's so many of them. It's like it was passed around. It couldn't have been that good of a book if it had this many owners. This writing looks really, really old. And I love how the subtitle has a new type of font on each line. It seems like they use 16, 17, 18, or maybe just 2 different fonts. Either way, it's kind of confusing how it's laid out. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this nice little tour into the 19th century. I believe if you guys can make it out all the way down here, it says 1811, published for the author at his office, and I can't really make out exactly what the rest is, but geography of the heavens by quite a few years. What's that? Well, quick math, I guess. 28 years. It beats geography of the heavens. Alright guys, well, I'm gonna let you go. I want to tap you off to sleep. As always, I appreciate the feedback, the likes, comments, especially the subscriptions. And I always listen to everybody. Although I might listen a little better to those of you with constructive feedback. But you're all awesome in your own right. And you all keep me going. So I hope you guys sleep very well. Have a great night, a restful sleep, and a brilliant morning. Because remember, not too long from now, you will be the old and cleared out by the new. As Steve Jobs once said, this is your time. It's limited. So let's not waste it. By walking through each day, sleep deprived and on only a half quality sleep. Get your rest. You need it so you can accomplish great things. Such as the discovery of America. Alright. Night, guys.